So when I was in 5th grade, I was diagnosed with a really severe skin condition that covered both of my legs in open wounds. And it obviously affected me a lot as a child growing up in Georgia, wearing shorts to school, and just being in the heat and being exposed in all those different kinds of ways was really hard. And just having open wounds all over your body is painful as a child. And so I would start praying for it to go away, it was just like a whole journey of prayer for me. I was praying for this thing to go away, but also at a certain point I hadn't really remembered life without it, and so I was kind of like living in that at the same time, and I felt a lot of shame because of it. Like, it's embarrassing for people to see you sick and like vulnerable, and it's also like gross, and that began to affect me a lot in like late middle school and high school and things like that. And then as it progressed to get worse, I started getting like pretty bad infections and started having to take medicine that didn't make me feel like myself anymore. And just started affecting me more and more. And I had really, really big plans for my life. I had plans to travel and to do mission work right after high school, and it just felt like there was no way for me to do that when I was so sick. And so there was a little part of me that thought maybe I'll never get to do any of these things, but I knew that God wanted me to. I knew that God wanted me to go out and do missions and travel and work with him and serve others overseas. And so I was just confused, honestly. I was like covered in this sickness that was holding me back, but I also had this like burning fire of a heart to go out and do things in different countries. And it became this like whole conversation in my household about how it was never gonna happen for me because I was sick. And I ended up accepting failure at the end of my junior year of high school and like throwing in the rag and saying like I'm gonna go to college and do whatever else everybody else does, even though it's not what I wanted. And then I found a specific like missions trip that I felt particularly called to, and I told my parents about it, and I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. And a few weeks after that, my mom came to me, sat down, and explained to me that there was not really any way that it was possible for me to go on this trip because of my legs, because of like the water overseas and the traveling and like lack of medicine and things like that. I wasn't going to be able to go on the trip, and I knew that God wanted me to go. I knew that he wanted me to go, and that my legs were the only thing holding me back. And so after that conversation, it was like the biggest confirmation in the world, because my legs started to heal right after that conversation with my mom. And so to both of us, to me and my mom, we're like, okay, like I am meant to do this. Like I am meant to like go out and like pursue the Lord and like the dreams that he's given me. And so he healed my body to enable me to go out and serve him and live a life that is free from all the shame and all of like the infection and medicine and things like that. And it has just been such a joy to live a life where I have this confidence that God wants me to do what I'm doing, and that he literally like crushed the only obstacle that was in front of me to do those things. And it's amazing. And I've never had any problems with my skin since then. And it's been like 6 years, so it's really amazing.